Welcome everybody to In Our Truck Night America live here from Circuit of the Americas for the Circuitbreaker 150. Folks, we just wrapped up the first month of Gainbridge Truck Series racing here for season number 2, and now folks we head to the 3.5-mile road course here in Circuit of the Americas. So the first road course of the season and the first time we are visiting here at COTA, and I'm very excited for this one. COTA, a very long track, but lots of passing opportunities for these drivers. Of course, you have the very big and wide turn number 1 where we can see a lot of dive bombs and moves by different drivers. But once again, just like last weekend at Auto Club, we're once again here for another first timer in the series here. And we kind of have that a lot this season. I mean, we have a lot of tracks that got replaced. Next week next Saturday actually we head to the Dodge Motor Dome for the Rams Trucks 300. So I'm excited to see how these new tracks do. I'm very excited to see how Circuit of the Americas is. Road courses can be very entertaining here on the Gainbridge Truck Series. We ended off last season with Road America as our final road course, and oh my gosh, I mean, that was a phenomenal race. It came down to Landon Laudenbach, Tyreek McLean, a very thrilling finish. So I'm looking forward to how this one will go. I think this one could honestly be more entertaining than any of the road courses we saw last season, and it's just a different breed this season. Lots of changes. We now have new teams, new owners, all that. So really excited to see how this one goes. Brandon Haynes is back on pole once again. It's about his, I want to say, fourth pole in his career here for our Truck Night America. So he's had quite a few poles, um, but he's looking to finally get that first win. This is Haynes' fourth pole here in our Truck Night America, and he's still searching for that first race win. Haynes just has not been able to get to it just quite yet. So it'll be fun to see if Haynes can duke it out with the rest of the road course ringers here this afternoon at Circuit of the Americas. But with no further ado, folks, let's head on down trackside and go over all the things we need to know heading to today's race. So I welcome you guys trackside here at Circuit of the Americas. Not quite where we usually are near pit lane, but we are here on one of the stretches of this track. It would be a very long pace lap if we started on pit road, so we are starting right here. But as you can see, a very interesting qualifying we had earlier this week, Wednesday afternoon at COTA. You can see Brandon Haynes, of course, like I said just before, on pole, but right on his outside, the 98 of Caleb Rose. And Caleb Rose looking very, very fast so far for NS Racing so far this season. Rose sits pretty well in the standings. Hasn't quite been able to rack in that first race win just yet, but him and his teammates have been very fast. Rose sits fourth in the standings so far this season, just about 25 points off our points leader number 43 of Angel Gutierrez. But uh, right behind him as well, we got Peter Onjak and the 83 of Senjo Vittoria, who's filling in for Ronnie Hauger. You see on your screen right now, actually, Ronnie Hauger had a very bad wreck last weekend at Auto Club, hitting that inside pit wall. Then you can see making contact with the 41 and all of them. So Ronnie Hauger's going to be out for quite some time. I believe it actually is just one race, so he should be fine. Yeah, he just had a deep rib contusion, so Ronnie Hauger out for one race. But Red Bull Fowler Racing still looking very fast. They got 3 trucks in this top 10 here tonight. Not tonight. This afternoon, and I'm really intrigued to see if they can finally get one of their trucks in victory lane. Because Ronnie Hauger fell off pace early last weekend, but I mean, they are just consistently fast. You got the 84 of Patrick Nolan, who's very good at road courses. You got the 82 of Ricky LaFleur. LaFleur currently sits 14th in the standings, while Nolan sits 39th. So not quite had the string of finishes he's wanted, but they've qualified consistently well. And I mean, you can even see it here on your screen. A lot of Fords here in this top 10 as well. So Ford's looking very strong at road courses. Of course, we have Caden Arcadia and um 81 of James Daniel, even Matthew Burnett back there. So I'm very intrigued to see how this will go. But Peter Onjak in a third, Onjak very solid at road courses for some reason. I don't think he puts too much time to road courses, but he's qualified very well coming into tonight. So I'm very intrigued to see how Onjak will do in this race and see if he can finally get back to victory lane for the first time in quite a while. About to say first time in 5 races, including last season. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at coming into this one. But as you can see, the point standings on your screen, Angel Gutierrez, like I said, has a 16-point lead over his teammate Avery Alfred coming into today's race. Alfred is currently tied with the 27 Matthew Hubert, who's looked very fast as well. But Racing Motorsports to start off the season, and Toyota Gazoo as a whole, have looked very, very fast. You have Patrick Raven behind them alongside Caleb Rose. Ryan Osborne looking very fast for Bow Racing. Chris Martins as well for Bow Racing. And Bow Racing hasn't really upgraded. And Todd Gordon Castle, that's running very well for Jacob Shingle Racing. And those two teams have not really much made really any I guess you could say improvements to their trucks. So they're still just running off raw speed. Nick Mahold sitting there in uh 10th. He's looking very solid. Carson Miller almost won last week's race. He had a huge head of steam heading in to the final lap, but his teammate Alexander Rowe got the race win. Rowe, coming off a wrist sprain, gets the win, and now we'll see if he's able to translate that success over here to COTA, but he is starting 17th here this afternoon, so it's going to be quite of a challenge for that number 7 team. Well, you can see here, we have William Ayers, Emily York Watson running solid as well. Like I said, Ricky LaFleur sitting in 14th, and then you got Jimmy West still in the open entry, still standing in here strong. It's kind of possible for him to make the chase, but he's gonna have to string up some better performances than what he's really had, finishing 39th in last week's race, which he got caught up in other mess. And tonight he's starting in a 35th, so he's got a long way to go. And then in 16th in the standings is Adrian Gale, so that's your top 16 currently. And Gale, unfortunately, did not qualify well. One of the best road course racers, arguably the best road course racer in our Truck 9 America, not starting too well here tonight. So Gale's going to be on a upward drive for most of this race. We'll see if he's able to go from 25th to first. It's going to be kind of hard. He's going to need some luck on his side. 17 laps here. But I do think it's possible with a guy like Gale and his talent. So that is your point standings outlook coming into this one here at Circuit of the Americas. I don't think there would be too much to discuss here. Don't want to make this too long, but when it comes to drivers to look out for, we're not going to go too in depth here, but I definitely would say you have to look at the 36 of Brandon Haynes. Chevy's not looked too strong, but they got two trucks here in the top four, and I'm really intrigued to see if he can finally get it done. He's very talented at these road courses, but I'm also intrigued by Sanjay Vittoria as well, right behind him. Vittoria still hasn't gotten his road course win, but he's practiced these tracks quite a lot, and that Red Bull Fallout Racing is very fast. So, I mean, if anybody could pull it off, I think he could. So I'm very interested to see how he does. Even Caleb Rose as well. He's looked very fast as well, but yeah, my main two I would say to look out for are Brandon Haynes and Sergio Vittoria. Then when it comes to my third and fourth drivers, I'm going to say the 32 of Caden Arcadia almost won I think it was Canadian Tire last year for his first race, uh first pole, and unfortunately made contact with the pit wall coming off of pit road, and that kind of set him back, but I thought he had a lot of pace in that one. He looked very fast. And then finally for my last driver, I'm going to go with, honestly, I'm going to go with that 84, I think, of Patrick Nolan. I think he could have some pace coming into this one, that purple Red Bull machine. I think Red Bull Fallout Racing, like I've said so many times already, sound like a broken record player in this broadcast, but they've looked so strong so far. And when it comes to qualifying, they just have not been able to put together the raw pace. And we'll see if they were able to do it this afternoon, but that's pretty much it for the drivers to look out for. So with no further ado, folks, I think that's all we need to go over heading into this one, folks. Let's head on and get these trucks fired off and rolling here for the Circuitbreaker 150, 17 laps around Circuit of the Americas here for in our Truck 9 America, the race 4 of the season. as they roll off, folks, you can see the start grid on your screen. In row 1 is a 36 of Brandon Haynes. Alongside him is a 98 of Caleb Rose. Row 2 is the 03 of Peter Onjak and the 83 of Sanjo Vittoria. Row 3 will be the number 84 of Patrick Nolan and the 42 of Avery Alford. Row 4 will be Caden Arcadia and the 82 of Ricky LaFleur. And rounding out your top 10 will be the 81 of James Daniel and the 97 of Matthew Burnett. So that is your top 10 heading to this race. You can see the rest of the grid on your screen here. But as these trucks are ready to go here at Circuit of the Americas, this one is going to be a very intriguing race. And 17 laps around here. We'll see. Sorry, I had to adjust my volume there, but we'll see how this one goes. I really think this is going to be intriguing because we have a lot of talented guys here that are really good at road courses. So I think we might finally get one of those clashes where we see all the road course ringers go at it. So I'm very intrigued by this one, and here we go as the pace truck peels off pit road. So it'll be Brandon Haynes leading us to green here at Circuit of the Americas for the first time in Gainbridge Truck Series history. So as they make their way through that final corner here, the green flag is out here at the Circuitbreaker 150. As they make their way through, you see a very chaotic lap one here at Circuit of the Americas. A bunch of cars, a bunch of trucks going around. Of course, there's no caution on road courses here in our Truck 9 America unless there is a very egregious incident. But right now, Brandon Haynes has dropped all the way to third as Caleb Rose is in the lead. But here comes a hard-charging number 83 of Sancho Vittoria filling in for Ronnie Hauger. And Vittoria might get a look here. Not quite there in that corner there, but as they make their way to complete lap number 1, it's going to be Caleb Rose leading it for NS Racing. So a very chaotic lap number 1. A couple guys might have to bring it down pit road, but Rose in the lead. And you saw David Dixon go around. William Ayers got spun around, but they were able to keep it going. As we make it through this turn is going to be one of the treacherous ones coming into this race. Lots of opportunities to make moves, but right now it is starting to become a single file here. That 84 Patrick Nolan is a little bit bent up on the back end as Alexander Rose making a move on the guy behind him, but we got a battle here between Peter Onjak and the 42 of Avery Alford. Alexander on the outside of Matthew Burnett here, but these two into the S's are battling. And Alford gonna have to back out of it there. These two still going at it. Alexander Rowe gets by. Matthew Hubert struggling a little bit. But man, oh man, what racing we have so far here at Circuit of the Americas. And Ayers has kept it going, but it has been a very, very shaky lap number 1, that is for sure. And you see, oh, Jay Valen's having engine issues. So that is a huge blow here. And that is not a good look for that 37 team. Jay Valen has blown an engine to start off this race. And yeah, it is an engine failure for that 37 team. So that is not what Haynes Racing needs in this one. As we move back through here, you can see Rowe starting to build a lead on the 83 of Vittoria. Behind him, Brandon Haynes trying to catch up, the 84, but still lots of battles behind. But now starting to single file out a little bit. We got Carson Miller racing side by side here with the 6 of Patrick Raven. Raven, though, going to use that inside. Going to get by him here. And no, not quite. Gale's going to get shot. Calvert as well. And we'll see quite a bit of that here this afternoon, as guys are not going to be afraid to lay the bumper here, especially at a road course. As Gutierrez trying to make a move on 30 of William Ayers. There goes Gutierrez. Lots of guys scrambling in front of him. Gutierrez going to try to use that outside line. Maybe go for it, but no, not quite. As now Hubert's getting past that number 41. Alexander Rowe trying to get past that number 41, as they are just using every inch of track they can so far. As now back up front, they're starting to close the gap once again on this 98. But here comes the 36 of Brandon Haynes now trying to catch up to this 83 of Vittoria. As Peter Onjak and the 42 of Avery Alford are battling side by side here going into turn number 1. So these two going to turn number 1, battling side by side. It looks like Onjak's trying to complete the move. No, Alford going to work back to the outside there. So there goes Avery Alford now moving into 7th. And back up front here. Now that 98 his gap starting to close down a little bit here. Vittoria now starting to catch up to him. And we'll see when he's able to try to make a move here. That's going to be the one thing. Can you make the move? Are these guys aggressive enough to get that pass off? Some guys are going to use up that dirt there. Some will not. But we're going to have to see when these guys eventually come down the pit road, which is going to be a very interesting thing. I would expect around lap 9 or 8, probably the earliest lap 7, which is in 4 laps, which is kind of crazy to say, but that'd be around 10 laps on tires, so you don't want to really push it that much. As now Hubert got past that number 7 of Alexander Rowe, but lots of racing to start off this one, and you love to see it. But fortunately for that 96 of Adrian Gill, he has not been able to make his way up too much, but he is up to 20th, about 5 places gained, but it's going to be a long journey for that number 96 team. Everybody else so far keeping it going. Skylar Taylor's bent up, so is Monica Pato. I want to assume they made some contact. Jay Valen finally gets that truck down onto pit road. And might have been something between that 45 and 11. I guess we'll see here on the replay if there is one. But 83 of Vittoria trying to close in on this 98 of Caleb Rose and that JBL machine. These 4 are starting to break away now, but still not out of it is that number 36 of Brandon Haynes and 84 of Patrick Nolan. So now, as we make our way to complete lap number 4 of this race, so far Caleb Rose has gotten the lead, and he is trying to drive away from this 83 Sons of Vittoria, filling in for Ronnie Hauger. But right now, that 83 is not budging, as he is still trying to stick it close to this number 98. While you have Caden Arcady. Oh, Caden Arcady is going to run really wide there. A huge mistake by that 32, and he's going to lose some time there, as I think he locked his brakes or something going into the corner there, which you can't see. I think he did wheel hop or something, and that can't happen. There goes Angel Gutierrez around his teammate of Avery Alford. Alfred, I think, had some contact with someone, as Alfred's all the way down to 14th here, but back up front, they're racing up here. The 97 of Burnett and the 92 of Nick Mahold there, and Mahold's going to get past him in that Orland machine for Lego McLaren Racing. And we'll see if Burnett gets a shot back at him. Not quite, but some guys getting to the dirt here. But these two still very close to each other. But that 98 now still maintaining the lead. Although, can Vittoria get to the back of this 98 of Caleb Rose? Already a 10-second gap back all the way to the 82 of Ricky LaFleur. But these guys are still closing in on each other, so I expect that to change quite considerably. As now Alexander Rowe here battling with Alfred and Gutierrez. As you see, Chris Martin's making a move on his teammate. back here, and he's going to get a 2-for-1 there, passing David Spears and his teammate, the 80 of Ryan Osborne. So now the French driver of Chris Martin's making his way through, and 30 of William Ayers unfortunately had to retire, and it looks like it was a gearbox issue for that 37 of Jay Valen, as that 9 of David Dixon is struggling so far. But here we go. We have a battle for the lead now on your screen. Sanjay Vittoria going right around the outside of that 98. The 98 of Caleb Rose, I don't think was expecting that move, and he gets on by him quite easily. So now Sanjay Vittoria into the lead as we come to complete the lap number 5 of this race. So Vittoria now gets the lead, and it's been quite a long time since Vittoria won a race. Not quite sure what exactly, but it's been quite a bit. But Rowe's gonna try to look to the inside, and there goes Caleb Rose now, looking back to the inside of Sanjay Vittoria. These two side by side racing for the lead as they make their way down the stretch. And Rose is gonna thread the needle, and he's gonna get around the outside on the S's. Now can Vittoria fight back? He is right on the back bumper of this 98 of Caleb Rose. And it doesn't quite look like he's going to get a move there. Might want to settle down once again, not try to force anything here. If you see the separate lines they're taking, that's the one unique thing about the racing here. As back behind, Brandon Haynes in the 84, Patrick Nolan. Nolan's got a lot of damage, though, on that front end. You have to assume they ran into each other quite a bit. As here comes Vittoria. Does he get to the back of the 98? Yes, he does. He says, move out the way, Caleb. I want to get through here, but it's not going to quite work out. So he gets to the back end of that number 98. Is back behind here. Where are they at? I lost them once again, but the 41 was battling with that 97, I think, at one point. But now Caleb Rose once again driving away from this 83 of Vittoria here. And, I mean, what a battle we saw there for a second between those two. But now Brandon Haynes back into third. But here comes Vittoria. Another great run there. Had a great set of corners here. Now he's trying to close back up on this 98 of Caleb Rose. Really have to back it down in this section here. As they make their way, that 83 going to use the apex, while the 98 doesn't. So two separate lines being used, but that's the one unique thing you see here in our Truck 9 Americas. These drivers will not run the same lines. They will try new things, whether it works or not. So now, Vittoria trying to get to the back of this 98 of Caleb Rose. And Rose really on the apex there, keeps it going now. And as we come to complete lap number 6, Rose back into the lead, back behind. Still lots of guys, lots of damage on the front end of some of these trucks, making contact with each other. That 33 of Young, the 11 of Monica Pato going into turn 1 here. Vittoria gonna back it down, trying to get early on the braking there. But that 98 gonna really lunge it to the inside. As now the 23 of Carson Miller's out of this one. Don't know if Miller had an issue, but doesn't seem like it so far. But lots of trucks came down pit road that last cycle, so I'm not trying to flip out of the ticker here, but that is actually the pre-race, so ignore some of that. But yeah, a few trucks went down pit road. You have to see what happened to that 23rd Carson Miller, but there's been a lot of contact here so far in this race. Lots of guys running into the back of each other, and oh, somebody was just all in the cones there, pushing the track limits here at COTA. We don't really have track limits to say, but now Haynes trying to close in on this top 2 here, trying to get something going in that iRacing machine. But now Vittoria and Rose close once again. But now Rose gonna try to drive away. But NS Racing could be looking for their second win on the season. Dorn won at Atlanta here. And I mean, the way Rose is running right now, could very well win this one as well. And if he was able to pull that off, that'd be pretty massive. There goes Vittoria for the dive bomb. There he goes to the inside, and he's going to get it off, I think. No, Rose back to the outside. But Vittoria looking for the dive bomb. He's going to have to get early on the break in there. Vittoria lunges late, and Vittoria back into the lead. A huge dive bomb there by the number 83 of Sanjay Vittoria, and he gets the move off, as now he is going to lead lap number 6 of this race. We'll see if Rose has an answer coming back through this section here. but it looks like it is going to be Vittoria's lap lead here. And now that 98 of Rowe's going to be very late on the braking here. As he's trying to catch back up here, maybe try to use some draft if there is any at all. Aaron Abel's driven his way up this race. Nick Maholtz. These guys, Angel Gutierrez as well, looking very solid. But now back up front here, Rowe's trying to dive into the corner, get back close to this number 90. I mean, that's number 98, 92. This number 83 of Ronnie. Wow, this 83 of Sanjo Vittoria. That is who he's trying to catch up with. So we'll see if he's able to do that. But let's ride on board for the Ford Performance Cam with this number 98 of Caleb Rose here as he tries to get through this course and catch back up to that number 83. You can see there, Brandon Hayes, the shot to the back of this number 98 of Caleb Rose, trying to get something going here, trying to get past them as this 83 of Sancho Vittoria is starting to drive away from all of them here as he's got quite a corner advantage now as that 98 of Caleb Rose kind of has just fallen out of pace, it seems. As now, we'll see if Brandon Hayes can try to get past him, but now Sancho Vittoria cruising off into the lead now. And we'll see when the pit cycle starts here for the main trucks. You know, I would expect it to be around lap number, it's going to be lap number 7 here. As here comes Vittoria coming down pit road. Hayes and Rose really pushing the limits there as well. Oh, you can't do that if you're Brandon Hayes. We saw that impact Caden Arcadia at Canadian Tire, and he does not want that to happen again. Wants it to him. We'll see if anybody stays out here. No, so far everybody coming in. Yeah, looks like everybody's gonna come in here, and nobody gonna try to maybe change it up a little bit, I would say. Not quite the case here. Haynes does have that first pit stall. We'll see if that helps him out. But no, not quite. 2 tires for the 83. And 98 of Rose. Trouble on the right side of that truck, Rose. Is there an issue? And there might be. Rose finally. They had some trouble putting on that tire as Rose is going to lose a lot of positions on pit road here. So not a good pit stop for Caleb Rose, as now he's going to have to race with Patrick Nolan. Aaron Abel here coming off of pit road. So Vittoria now coming off of pit road. He's got quite the advantage here, but did anybody stay out? Maybe. I think some of these guys on alternative strategies stayed out, but we'll see how it works out for them. But now Sancho Vittoria, he's got a pretty solid gap over Brandon Haynes here. But can Haynes catch up to this 83? Caleb Rose had issues on the last lap now. And the pit cycle had trouble putting on that right side tire. So now he's going to have to carve his way back through. But he's already made up a lot of positions here, it seems. Or actually, no, he's actually fallen off from that 41. So now you got that 81 running solid here with that 81 of James Daniel actually running very solid. Not sure where he came from, but it should be Vittoria cycling back out into the lead, I would think, unless somebody made a bold strategy. But that should take us to the end. We'll see how it works, but that should take us to the end. But I think it is Vittoria in the lead. So we'll see how it comes when they cycle all through here. Whoa. I thought Rose went wide there for a second. As they make their way through this long section here, you can see the red, white, and blue there, representing. But yeah, I think it's going to be Vittoria back in the lead for Red Bull Fallout Racing, filling in for Ronnie Hauger in the 83. And that 83 has shown a lot of pace when it comes to qualifying. Hauger just has not been quite able to put it down in the race. So see as they come through here, where will everybody come in at, and will it be the 83 of Vittoria in the lead? And James Daniel jumped a lot of spots here. So yes, it is Vittoria still in the lead. James Daniel has jumped all the way up to third here in front of that 84 Patrick Nolan. So James Daniel's got a lot of pace in that 81 My Hero Academia truck for Ford Performance. So Ford having a great evening here at Circuit of the Americas. James Daniel is very good at these road courses too. So he is running very solid to start off. We'll see how it works out. He's got one of the better road course skills in this series, but can Brandon Haynes catch up to the C3 Vittoria? Rose kind of fell off after that pit cycle. We should be good to the end, but we will see how it plays out. But some guys are all the way behind now, but that is just road course racing here. And we'll follow along with this 83 Vittoria. We'll see how far Brandon Haynes is, and Haynes is not too far behind here. So Haynes could go, not doing that though. He ran very wide there. So that's going to lose him some time, but lots of Fords in this top 5. Nick Mahol, 2 McLaren trucks, a lot of Red Bull Fallout Racing. So lots of guys making moves into this top 10. The 33, of course, are Lego McLaren. Not having great performance. Well, not having great performance. He's out of this race, but you have guys like Caden Arcadia, Caleb Rose, Ricky LaFleur, Nick Mahold, Patrick Nolan, even James Daniel running in third all of a sudden. But now Haynes starting to close back in on this 83 of Sanjay Vittoria, trying to get something going here. Lap traffic, I don't think actually. Oh, the 33 of Young is actually not out of this. So the Young still hits the I don't even want to say hits the apex there, but he's still in this one, but he's not having quite the luck that his teammates are. But now as we come to complete lap number 9, gonna be 8 more to go in this one. But right now, Sanjay Vittoria got that lead from Caleb Rose after Rose was driving away and has not looked back. But does anybody like Brandon Haynes have an answer for this 83 truck? But James Daniel, I mean, he's still keeping up with this 36 of Haynes, so they're both going to have to put in a lot of work. Hope that maybe some lap traffic falls in front of them, which it could very well. Soon as Sarah Taylor actually, running wide and not shocking there. Sarah Taylor still hasn't submitted her driver ratings. This is the last race that they get a chance to do it. If they don't do it by next week, they will be removed. They will stay as a team owner because they are upgrading, but they still have not done that. As there goes James Daniel trying to move into second there, but Brandon Haynes gonna get back past them. But like I was saying, oh my God, Sarah Taylor, and this 33 of Carl Young are going at it. But this is their final race to put in ratings. I guess you could say it's a Brad Keselowski situation with his NASCAR driver's license. This is the TNA driver's license. If they don't submit their ratings by the end of this weekend, Sarah Taylor's done in at 45. But lots of guys coming back down for pit stops here for some reason, which they are on separate strategies. But these two racing very tough so far. That 33 and 45 finally got away from each other, I think. But they're still duking it out quite a bit. I mean, Vittoria could catch up to these guys pretty soon, though. But that gap has really grown from Brandon Haynes and that 81. So that 83 is looking very fast here this afternoon. And so has Red Bull Fallout Racing as a whole. Really coming alive on the road courses. Aaron Abel, though, trying to end this party of Fords here. He's already made his way up quite a bit. Matthew Hubert as well. Gutierrez running solid. Avery Alford. Alexander Rowe battling with the 99 Virago Dorn, Peter Onjak, Emily York Watson, Kyler Sustre, Patrick Raven. So lots of solid performances despite the struggles from some drivers. Oh, and these guys are duking it out here, but not quite anything coming out of it. But Brandon Haynes still trying to catch up as the 81's coming down pit road. So James Daniel may be trying something different here. And see if it works out for him. But he comes out pit road, so that puts the 84 back into third. And there's about a 12-second advantage now. So it's just between this 83 of Sanjay Vittoria and this 36 of Brandon Haynes currently. And Haynes just doesn't seem like he quite has a pace. I mean, Chevy has lacked. He said in his interviews. And it's just not working out too well for him. But he's hoping for something to just pop off here. Just something to happen that can give him a chance in this race. But, I mean, we've had some pretty solid battles, I'll say that. That's for sure been the case. We have some solid battles to start off this race. And just some tough, hard racing between guys throughout. And it's pretty. Oh, Brandon Haynes! Oh, he went too wide. He got stuck in the wall. Oh, no! Brandon Haynes just went head on into the wall. And he's going to be out of this one. And that might be all she wrote for this race. Oh, my Lord. We're going to have to do a unplanned replay there because I got to see what happened there live. Oh, he literally wheel hopped and went into the wall. He spun out, and oh, you can't do that if your Haynes makes an early mistake. And, oh, not early mistakes, makes a bad mistake. And now Sanjay Vittoria is very well on his way to his first career victory in about 10 races, I would say. Unless Patrick Nolan cooks something up, we will see if this 83 can hold on, or we'll see some last lap pit stops like we saw at Watkins Glen, and I guess you could say the death strip of the season. Oh, nope, cannot say that. The final, I don't even know. I already just said something really bad. I guess you could say the final death stretch of the season at Watkins Glen, we saw a lot of mistakes being made, but I mean, that is, I've never seen that before at a road course. I don't think the 36 had any tire failure either, so he just booked it into the wall. And the 36 Brandon Haynes now gonna be out of this one, I think, as I think he's still getting service on pit road, but I mean, that might as well be all she wrote for Brandon Haynes. She's still on pit road. Surface damage, of course, got towed to pit road. So right now, it looks like a Red Bull Fallout sweep as they got 3 trucks in this top 3 here. Sanjay Vittoria driving away. He does not want to make the same mistake Brandon Haynes did, though. I mean, it would be comical if it happened, but I mean, Brandon Haynes completely spun out, and it was just unfortunate events. But as I was saying before that all transpired, we have a very busy weekend in our racing in general. Of course, last night, the Wawa Cup Series for the Wawa 400 had their race at Homestead, Miami. We're in Texas, but they had a pretty solid race there. And we are racing in the afternoon here, which you gotta love these afternoon races. Well, I guess you say noon races, yeah. Just kick off the morning for some people. But we'll see if Nolan is able to get to this number 83 of Vittoria, but I don't think so. I think Vittoria's been very solid here. Oh, not very solid. Been lights out here at COTA ever since he got the lead. We saw him have that brief battle with 98 of Caleb Rose, but ever since then, nobody's quite had the answer. And with the 10-second gap, that's gonna kind of all she wrote. But let's see how long Brandon Haynes lasts in this one. He might be out of this one pretty soon, though. So see, coming in here, Sanjay Vittoria gonna come through for lap number And he's still on pit road on Jack as well. I don't know. I mean, I think something might be brewing here. We saw them pit on lap number 7 here. Do they pit on lap 14 to ensure they are good to the end is my question. And if you're some of these guys, do you try to long run it and get the upper hand on this 83? But we will see how it plays out because we come through here. I don't know if you make that's it's gonna be 3. That's 3 laps after, but that's 3 very long laps. So it's gonna really depend on what these teams and drivers decide to do. But I mean, if you're that 83 Vittori, you got a 12-second gap. I don't really think you want to risk it too much. You see Nolan in the background there, but I think you could just nurse it to the end. I mean, even if something happens, you still got quite a good gap here. But I mean, you got this 45 up ahead. I mean, I can't. Oh! Joseph Wood takes out 55 of Trey Wright, right in front of them. Oh no! Wow, that happened. So that just took place. Now Vittoria gonna try. Oh, Vittoria goes wide here. Now trying to look back to the inside, but that is very treacherous racing. Oh, Sarah Taylor running them wide too. Now Sanjay Vittoria facing lap traffic here with this 45 of Sarah Taylor, finally going to get on by him. But man, oh man, don't know what 55 Trey Wright did to upset that number 38 of Joseph Wood. He's going to make contact back with them. Trey Wright not showing that he is happy with this 38 of Joseph Wood for taking him out here. And we'll see if he gets his revenge here going back into turn 1 as guys are coming off the road. So we might see some pit stops here. But if you get the 55 Trey Wright, that was completely uncalled for. Of course, Joseph Wood gets into his tempers a little bit too much sometimes and takes out the 55, and that is not what you want to see, but it did happen. So now Vittoria gonna have to face some lap traffic here. John Andrews coming off pit road, Peter Onjak. But oh, Vittoria runs wide here. So it looks like tire wear is coming into key here, and it might be smart to bring it down here. Yeah, here comes 82 Ricky LaFleur, the 92 Nick Mahold. So we will have one final pit cycle before the end of this race. And everybody's bringing it down while Vittoria and the number 84 is staying out. So 83 of Vittoria are staying out. So I don't know. This could shape up to be a very interesting ending. But you can see that 83 is struggling for tire. Oh my. A huge snap there in the back end of that 83. Dude, these guys are seriously losing it here. And I mean, it's quite entertaining. You love to see drivers actually having to use your skill, but that is not quite what you want to do here. But he's keeping it going. I think those tires are good as shredded here. And I think the 81 of James Daniel could be in play because he pitted very late. So he might be going for that long shot of getting the win. Of course, a New Zealander. Not New Zealander. Phew, what am I saying? He is not. I always get him mixed up with the 5 of David Dixon. He's not the New Zealander, but he races for Lego McLaren, who is owned by Sanjay Vittoria. So that'd be pretty interesting if he took the win away from his team owner. But you know, I mean, sometimes that happens. But I mean, this 83 is struggling for grip here, so I think they do bring it down here on lap number 14. And he is Canadian. He's actually from the Cayman Islands, so. Fun fact, my family is also from Cayman Islands. Well, one half of it, so. That's interesting. But we'll see if the 83 brings it down this time, or is he still going to push this go? No, he's going to bring it down, yeah. I think that is a very smart move by the engineers at Red Bull Fallout Racing. You see your driver struggling for grip. You saw that huge snap on the back end there. But does the 84 bring it down? Yes, he does as well. So now the 81 of James Daniel, I think, is going to be in play for this race lead as Caleb Rose right out. Oh, Ricky LaFleur might have a chance here, actually. So we're actually going to see how this plays out here on pit road. And we'll see if Sanjay Vittoria can get back out into the race lead with just 2 more laps to go in this race. One final pit stop. This is a very long 2 laps. So Vittoria, he goes. I think he went 4 tires. I don't know what he did there actually. That honestly looked like he just did inside and it only did left side tires for a second. It looked like, but see how it plays out. Here comes the 81 of James Daniel. Gonna try to compete at the end of this race. He's good till the end. He's got hot and fresh tires too. He's gonna try to work to the outside of the 84 of Patrick Nolan, and there he goes as well. So now Vittoria gonna have 2 more to go. He's on cold tires, so can that 81 of James Daniel catch up here? I don't think there's a chance, but we will see. You can't make any mistakes like other drivers did if you're Vittoria here. You do not want that to happen, but I mean, it could very well be the case. But he has led on almost every lap in this race besides, I think, the first 4, so he's had a very dominant day here at Road America, Circuit of the Americas. Oh, James Daniel loses it there, spins out the truck, and here comes the 84 Patrick Nolan to take advantage of it. That's what you don't want to do if you're Vittoria. And we'll see how long you keep it going for. But there's been a lot of guys so far in this race that have fallen victim to just running it wide and losing it. So we'll see how it works out. But just, you gotta be perfect here. But as he makes his way around, he's going to be coming to 2 more to go here in the Circuitbreaker 150. Red Bull Fallout Racing at one point was looking to sweep the podium there. Don't quite get it done, but they are still trying. And we'll see if the 84 is able to get past. No, I don't think he is going to be able to, but it's coming to 2 to go. Nick Mahold's still stuck on pit road there. I think he might have an issue there, and he might be done for the day, but 2 more to go now at the line for the 83 of Sanjay Vittoria. So no mistakes are needed at this time, but he's got that 81 of James Daniel trailing right behind him. Should capitalize on anything, but Vittoria is experienced, one of the veteran drivers of the league. Can he keep it going? Filling in for Ronnie Halger. This is going to be a great day for the Red Bull Fallout Racing team when it comes to owner points. Of course, it doesn't transfer over for Ronnie Halger the win, but just keep it nice and easy here. Don't want to make a mistake that the drivers have been making here. And I mean, this is one of the first races where we've seen guys really just spin out. But he's been perfect so far here this evening. We saw the battles with Caleb Rose. That was really good racing between those two. They were battling, going through the S's, all of that. But 41 of Aaron Abel's up to 5th. Brandon Haynes, of course, not having the starts of the season he's wanted. Haynes is about the 1 lap down as Patrick Raven retired, and the 03 of Peter Onjak had a valve issue. So, I mean, these Chevys are just running out of luck to start the season. I mean, this manufacturer almost looks cursed here. So Onjak had a valve issue. Of course, his teammate of William Ayers spun out early in this one. He couldn't continue to go. And if you're Chevy, you might be hitting the panic button. I mean, they don't even have a driver inside the top 15 here in this race. So, I mean, they're just having a rough night, it seems. A rough day, I guess you'd say. But as we make our way through the final corner, it's going to be 1 more to go for the 83 of Sanjay Vittoria here. Dominated this race so far. And he's got 1 more to go. That one of James Daniel trails right behind. Does Daniel have anything for his team owner, or is that all she wrote for this race? But the white flag is out for Vittoria. You can't make a mistake if you're this 83. We've seen guys spin it out with the 81 right behind him. You know the pressure's amped up, but if there's anybody that can take it to the end, it is this 83 Vittoria, who's been so good so far here today. But man, oh man, what a return to victory lane it'll be for this 83 of Vittoria. Hasn't been victory lane since season 1 at Worldwide Technology Raceway, so it's been quite a long time, but he is trying to get it done. Oh, so far so perfect on this final lap. We've still got a lot of guys spin out there, but yeah, he hasn't won since, Worldwide Technology Raceway, and that was race 14 of last season, so it's been about 20 races since he's won. But as he makes his way through this section for one final time, the fireworks are going off here at Circuit of the Americas for this 83 of Sanjay Vittoria for Red Bull Fallout Racing. That 83 team has worked so hard, qualified so well, but just have not quite been able to get it done on in-race pace. But Ronnie Hauger, now with a deep rib contusion for this race, they call in one of their affiliates, Sanjay Vittoria, and now he makes his way through for one final time. He's got that 33 of Carl Young up ahead, but Vittoria coming through the final turn. He's going to see the checkered flag here at Circuit of the Americas. So as they make their way through, it's going to be the 83 of Sanjay Vittoria winning the Circuitbreaker 150. Sanjay Vittoria gets that race win on the season. Of course, he is a part-time driver, but he gets the race win. James Daniel finishes second. Third is 84 Patrick Nolan, and I don't know what's going on this final lap, but at least Chevys are struggling. But Vittoria gets it done for Red Bull Fallout Racing. So a very solid road course race here from Circuit of the Americas. Vittoria finally gets it done. First time in a long time that driver has seen victory lane. And of course, next week we will join you from Dodge Motor Dome. So that'll be interesting to see. But as he makes his way through, of course, a great race win. And the next road course we have on the season is Fuji Speedway. So this might be the last time we see Vittoria in a truck till then. But we also have the in-season tournament, so you might want to win some money from that. But thank you all. Well, not say thank you all. But I mean, what a race. So as Vittoria makes his way through, he's going to burn it down, and then we'll get into your finishing results of this race. Not sure why I said thank you all. My mind cannot comprehend that race. I mean, saw drivers spin out, have all these issues, and you don't usually see that. So it was very interesting. So let's get into the final race results of this one, and then we'll wrap up the action here from In Our Truck Night in America. So let's head on down, let the 83 burn it out, get to victory lane, and then let's check out the race results. Alright, so as I welcome you guys back down trackside after that 83 burned it down here at Circuit of the Americas, you can see your finishing results here. Not a Chevy in sight in this top 15, and the next Chevy is, I mean, it is the 9 of David Dixon all the way down to 19th. A solid, very solid performance from Silly Thing Racing. You have Marcus Shields Kelly in that 74, Hallie Anderson Jr. in the 15. They finished pretty well. But of course, Central Vittoria got the win. Brandon Haynes, unfortunately, just, I don't know, wheel hops into the wall. I don't know what happened there, but that ends his day. Adrian Gill a lap down as well. So, I mean, once again, just bad luck for these Chevys here. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was a very solid race. You saw a very fun battle between 83 and 98 at some times. I mean, the beginning of the race by far was very electric. Lots of action going on. I mean, Red Bull Fallout Racing had a great day. 3 trucks in the top 5, so that's a great win for Alexander Rowe, the team principal there at Red Bull Fallout. Aaron Abel drives his way through. Angel Gutierrez, so those two look very well. Angel Gutierrez should still maintain the points lead, I would say. Avery Alford finishes 10th, so he did pretty good. We have Caden Arcadia, Alexander Rowe, Matthew Hubert, Kyler Sesser. I mean, even Patrick Raven was running well at one point, and he retired from this one. So, I mean, overall, very solid race here from Circuit of the Americas. Of course, we finally get short track racing next week at Dodge Motor Dome. Yeah, Dodge Motor Dome for the Ram Trucks 300. But yeah, um, very fun race here from Circuit of the Americas. You can see the rest of the results on the screen. Some very solid finishes. Jimmy West carves all the way up to 23rd. Already mentioned the 9. But, I mean, we saw a lot of contact here today. And, I mean, this road course racing is going to be very tough, nitty gritty. Um, and we saw that happen here today. And it was kind of pretty entertaining. We saw the 55 and 38 make quite contact. We'll see if anything transpires out of that. I, if we had to just judge off what we saw, I think the 38 Justin Wood clearly was in the wrong. Just completely took out the 55 of Trey Wright without any regard. Um, I mean, we'll see more post race likely in social media, aka the End Character channel, which nobody really uses anymore for some reason. We started off the season hot with a lot of drivers using it, but nobody really uses it anymore. But yeah, so that is pretty much it from In Our Truck Night in America live from Circuit of the Americas. Once again, thank you all for the support. We've had a very fun start to the season. 4 races in, 4 pretty solid races. Next week we head to our first short track race of the season. I am very excited for that one. After that we head to Lucas Oil IRP, which was a great race last season as well. But 100 laps at Dodge Motor Dome next weekend. A Saturday night truck action here from In Our Truck in America. But once again, like I said, thank you all for the support. We've had a lot of viewers in the past 3 races. And I just love seeing the support. And feel free to join the Discord down below if you want to get involved in this action. Um, and just hoping to keep on growing. Right now we only have the Truck Series, likely going to stay that way unless something drastically changes. But yeah, thank you all for watching another Truck Night in America. This is Charlie Davenport signing off live here from Circuit of the Americas here in a very thrilling race at COTA. We saw lots of battles, lots of contact, lots of tempers flaring, and we might even see more rubbing as racing next week at Dodge Motor Dome. So thank you all for watching, and that is all.